And then listen to how this happened, right? So now God knows that we are frail. We know we're from dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We have to go back. So God gives you the best guide ever. How does he do that? Let's hear what God gives you to get you through it all. Let's see. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt. For God is your guide. So if God being your guide, how then will you sin? You understand me? It would make it kind of impossible, you know? Let's listen to how God puts it. Behold, God himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave all from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them. Forever. To meddle no more with them forever. That means you died to those sins. How is that proven even more so in the fact that Jesus died for your sins? Let's hear the scriptures. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him. Okay? That the body of sin, there it is, the body of sin might be destroyed. That henceforth we should not serve sin. And what is he talking about? He's talking about this scripture here. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey. Okay? His servants ye are to whom ye obey. Whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. It all goes back to him. God gives us all a choice to make. And if we choose to listen to God, we choose to walk with him. Because God never brought you this far to leave you. He said glory be to God. Glory be to God. Oh, Lord have mercy. As the Bible reads this here. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins. Okay? And covered with their iniquities. Like as a field is covered with the bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. So when is he speaking about the fire? As he's saying, it cast into the fire. But those who continue to sin. The Bible explains that here. Book of Revelations, chapter 20, verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. Once again, what you do, as well as what you say, every bit of it is going to be judged for you. Everything you have ever done to another soul, everything you have ever done to another human being, even to yourself, shall be brought to light. All things that are done in darkness shall be brought to light. Nothing should not be revealed, for God is light. For everything that comes to him, you got to come clean. He already said your righteousness is a filthy rag unto him. So that means if you go around with his own self-righteous way of thinking, I got it. No, you don't. Because until we get there, we don't got it. All we can do is hope that we got it. And as we hope that we got it by following what he told us to do. That means hope must win. You must have hope in this word. That kind of hope brings forth fruition of true truth in your life. It brings forth so much fruit. So much more fruit of righteousness come out your heart when you have that kind of hope. Because it seals you. It covers you. And it protects you against the worries of this world. Even God said that because you made him your habitation. You choose God. God chooses you. He says, I love them that love me. And them that seek me early, they shall find me. So if he's promising you that you can find God. You understand? This is encouraging words. There's nothing more encouraging than knowing that God will be there with you. And knowing that his son will be there with you. You got to have that kind of faith that breathes out you. Let that kind of life rumble around inside you and come true. Come to light. Because God is light. And his son is the way unto him. For what did Jesus tell? Did he not say, I am the way, the truth, and the life? No man cometh unto the Father but by me. That means you have no other way in. So if you know who Jesus is, know that Jesus made a point to remind us to sin no more. What is sinning? It's transgression of the law, which is what? The commandments of God. That means you are not doing what God told you to do. So let's hear what God told us to do. And I want you to tell me if this is difficult, okay? Is that hard to do? Exactly. No, it's not. So let's do this. And the God spoke. Now this is, oh my God, bless his heart. Now I need you to listen now. Because now God is about to say something. We're going to hear this. And God spake all these words saying. So this is God's words, okay? I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. This is what is expected of you. You have to worship nobody else, nothing else but God. Is that hard? Is this a hard commandment for you? I didn't think it would be. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Meaning what? No more horoscopes. That's it. That cancels out the horoscopes. That means you have to have more faith in what? God. See, you cancel out horoscopes. Now I got to believe that God is in control of tomorrow. I believe that God created the next day. He created the day. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's be merciful. There you go. That's how that happens. It's real easy. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. God just told you he's jealous. You know what it is when you're jealous. You're not a kind person. But God just told you, I am a jealous God. Now he also told you here, do not bow down yourself to these false gods, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So if it's in your heart to hate God and you're thinking you're getting back at God by being mad at God, you got a rude awakening coming. You need to know what it means to humble yourselves down as a child and understand that only God is the truth and there is nothing else. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. This is in the Bible I'm reading. Book of Exodus chapter 20 if you want to follow along. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. This is why I always got to tell people, watch your mouth. Because what you say matters. You must understand when Jesus Christ said that you're judged by every idle word you speak. Here you go. As you blaspheme this book or his name ever, that is considered unto God as an unforgivable sin. That means you can't clean that up. You got to make it a point to write yourself quick. I'm sorry. Forgive me, God, for I did not know better. And do it no more. It's just that simple. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. There's no reason why you would ever put his name out there, because you're supposed to know better. You're supposed to understand his wrath is nothing to be pleasant. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The Sabbath day, is anyone that knows a Jewish person, is Saturday. That is why they serve it every day. Remember, Jesus Christ is what? A Jew who was of a Hebrew tongue. So if he was a Jew and he worshiped the Sabbath day is Saturday. It was never changed. God never changed it. So if you're doing something on the Sabbath that you are not supposed to do, you got no one to blame but yourself. Because you got to understand, if we believe in him, we believe in all of him. And did he not just say here, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And his commandments said it quite clear. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day, which is Saturday, is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So you can't pick and choose a day to worship. He chose it. God never gave man that kind of power to sit there and change anything that he put forth. So if God said that this is the day I've chose, I've hallowed it, that's what you're supposed to do. Because that is his commandments. And he's not asking you to do nothing hard, but to sit down at home and teach your children about him and worship him and sit back in peace and acknowledge him in the presence of your family. What's wrong with that? This is how we have a holy household. We can have children that leave our house and know who God and Jesus is, so they cannot fall into the ways of the world. This is how you protect your children. This is how you protect your family. Because as long as you're studying and doing what God told you, you think God is going to, no, he's going to reward you. Because you're honoring him and you're following his commandments and his statutes and his precepts as he has commanded you. This is what Moses did. This is what Noah did. And definitely this is what Jesus did. So if Jesus can do it, so can you. If Paul can do it, so can you. If Zechariah and Elizabeth can do it, so can you. And if Job can do it, so can you. Don't you ever sell yourself short. Understand that you're created after the likeness of the image of the one that created all things on this earth and under the earth and in the sea and everything around it. That's how powerful our God is. Glory be to God. Keep going. Honor thy father and thy mother. What's wrong with that? That thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. We all make mistakes. We do not all know how to be a good father, good mother, because not all of us are really, let's be honest. We've all seen some bad things done. Some fathers did some things wrong. Some mothers did some things wrong. But it's not your place to judge them. All you can do is pray for them. And pray for the merciful hand of God to walk with them and to help them through. And learn to forgive them. Because if they knew what they were doing wrong, don't you know they would not do it? If they knew what they were doing was wrong, they wouldn't do it. And then if they knew they were doing it wrong and still continue to do it, you ask God to give them help. Because see, vengeance is God's. It's not ours. We don't need to add on to the problem. We need to give some person a way out. Give them somebody a rest. People are tired. Parents work hard. I know. I grew up in a household. I know what it is to have a mother work more hours than need be. To not have a father ever there. I know what that's like. Have to be raised with a brother and a sister that don't know, that has going to go through the same thing you're going through. No father there. Mother's working all kinds of hours. So you got to start making decisions. It's hard to make choices in a world that has no ring. Because everybody do with the fish and chip they want. So how do you know what's right and what's wrong? That's why God becomes important. Because God keeps everything in line. Glory be to God. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. What's wrong with being faithful? It's that simple. Thou shalt not steal. You're one of the ones stealing your stuff, so don't steal no one else. The commandments are not hard. Let's keep going. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Once again, your tongue. Stop lying. All liars will have their part of the second death. That's also in the Bible. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. That means what? Be content with what you got. Because God is your provider. He will provide all thy needs. So if you know a God, I don't need what Tom and Sue have, because God will have something for me, for Jason, for you, for anybody, but not. No, be content to what God has in store for you, because every knee will bow, every tongue shall confess. Your righteousness is in your control, in your choices. Glory be to God.